Welcome to 1 Year Visa. My name is Phil. In this video, I'm going to tell you my story about how I moved from America to Okinawa, Japan on a student visa. It was one of the best decisions I ever made, and the question for you is not whether you should move to Japan on a student visa. The question is, where should you move to Japan on a student visa? I wanted to go to Okinawa, looked like Japan, Hawaii, but I've also been everywhere in Japan, and there's pros and cons to different areas. So I'm going to get into why I moved there and what it was like in this video. So I'll probably do a separate video on like my whole backstory on why I left America and all that. But in 2020, I was living in a van in San Luis Obispo. I was learning online marketing and digital marketing, website design. And when the lockdowns happened, living in California in a van sucked. It was finished. And my mom in Tennessee was very sick. So I decided to move from California to Knoxville, Tennessee. And I lived there for about a year, being with my mom, taking care of her. And I was also selling timeshares, making some money, being with the family. It wasn't too bad. But when you live in a van, kind of outside your family's house in Knoxville, and you're like 36 years old, it's kind of a dead end. So I knew that America had no future for me, but I didn't really know where I wanted to go, where on earth maybe I could have a future. And my mom was going to die, and when she was going to be passed away, I would leave America. So I had a friend who moved to Japan years ago, and he got married and is living in Japan, Japanese wife. So I looked at different places in Japan online. I found Okinawa. It looked like Japan, Hawaii, and I started to apply for the student visa. My mom did pass away, and because the student visa application takes 6 months, I took that opportunity to drive my van around America to everywhere that I always wanted to go. I visited all my friends. I told them I'm moving to Japan, I'm done with this country, and see you later, see you never. I got back to Tennessee, I received my student visa paperwork, and I sold the van and I flew to Okinawa. And I can tell you that as soon as I landed in Tokyo, and then I would connect to Okinawa on a different flight, as soon as I landed in Japan, in my mind, I was like, oh my God, I live here. Literally like a dream come true. Not many times in your life is there like crystalline moments where a dream literally comes true. It's like, oh my God, everything is so clean. Everyone is Japanese. I have this resident card. Like, I live here. This is so crazy. This move happened in April 2022, and I caught the next flight to Okinawa. And at the start, I lived in a share house that was near the school. I could have lived in the school apartments, which I should have done, would have been a lot easier, but for whatever reason, I did not do that. I wanted to rent my own apartment, and I later did rent the apartment. So for the first 3 months, I lived in the share house. But basically, I went to school that first day. Most of the students, all kinds of internationalities, France, Peru, oh my God, like everywhere you can imagine, Nepal, Swiss, all kinds of great people. Most of them, I would say, between 25 and 30 years old. At the time, I was 37 years old, but it was great. Everybody was cool. Started learning Japanese. I knew zero Japanese. Nothing. I was learning hiragana and katakana like on the flight. And that was like a big mistake. Honestly, I recommend you learn some Japanese before you move to Japan. But I got there knowing nothing. I got in the baby class and I was learning some Japanese. I was living in the share house. I bought a bicycle, biking around Naha, Okinawa. There's good restaurants. It's obviously super safe. You can work out in the park, try and get healthy. It's just like an incredible quality of life. And you know, the school is called ICLC. Very friendly. I became friends with the owner of the school, like super sweet guy. Helped him with digital marketing. We became good friends. And for the first 3 months, it was great. Living in the share house, riding the bicycle. I was in the process of buying a car. I was in the process of renting my own apartment. Extremely complicated process. I made other videos on that. Like, took 3 months. But as I got the apartment, I bought the car, and that is when Okinawa like kicked off. That is when like dream life began. I was doing the keto diet. I was getting in shape. I drove that car everywhere. Little van. I would drive like way up on Friday nights. I sleep in the van, and then Saturday morning I could go swim in some like lost beaches and like insane, crazy good snorkeling in Okinawa, and just go everywhere. So every weekend I'd go on some crazy adventure, and then throughout the week I'd be going to school. I have some friends there. I was working online, just doing like website design for a business back in America. So kind of working part-time, going to school part-time, getting healthy. I started to try and date Japanese women. For me, it was totally impossible. I made videos on that, gave up on that, and started to date a Vietnamese girl that was going to the language school, the sweetest girl in the world. And I can tell you that all the language schools that I've been to, and I've been to 15 language schools in mainland Japan, they are the sweetest students. Every time I go to a language school, I think like, okay, this is the best language school. This is going to be the best students. Every school has the sweetest people in the world. You cannot not make friends at the Japanese language school. It's impossible. So I was dating this sweet girl. I had the car. I had the apartment. I was in shape. I was making the words gaijin, foreigners. I was making some gaijin friends. I had some Japanese friends. And people say it's hard to make friends. That's your fault. I hate to be, really hard on that, but if you leave your house and like if you work out or you have a car or a motorcycle or you do fun things or you go to these like there's a Monday night class in Okinawa. It's separate from the school, and like all these wacky local people go there. I go there every Monday night, and then on the weekends be like, we're going to the waterfall, we're going to the island, we're going whatever. Making friends through the Monday night class, making friends at the language school, making friends like literally like just random people, okay, specifically like Japanese people that left Japan and came back, so they're kind of like gaijin-ified, gaijin style. Pretty easy to make friends with that. Sorry to get on some crazy tangent about making friends, but like you're gonna make friends. Like if you're like a real normal human being, you can be fine in Japan. So had this amazing life for a year in Okinawa. I learned some Japanese. I was not a good student, but did my best. And at the end of the year, it was kind of sad because I really, felt like this is my home. I don't feel like America is my home anymore. I'm not homesick for America. Love my family, but America is finished. So, Okinawa, very peaceful, very affordable, and it was finished. Student visa was finished. Gaijin gotta go bye-bye. So I put my little car on the big ferry, and I drove the car to Narita, basically like Tokyo, and I left the car in long-term parking. And I knew I didn't want to go back to America. That was, like I said, it was a dead end. So I left the car there for 3 months, and I went to Thailand, and I went to Korea and Taiwan, and then I returned to Japan, and I got the car back. And then I drove basically everywhere in Japan for 2 months, living in my car in Japan, basically homeless for 2 months on a tourist visa. because you can only buy a car and rent an apartment on a real visa, like student visa. So I had the car, and I returned, and I got my car back, and I went everywhere. So at the end of that 2 months, I sold the car, and in selling the car, made another friend, Japanese guy in Narita. And that was kind of that chapter in my life, and it was amazing. It was like one of the best times of my life. And will I ever live in Japan again? It's possible. Okinawa for me, it's possible, you know, but it's gonna be a long time. I've got other places to go and things to do. So the year living in Japan, absolutely amazing. The highest quality of life, very safe, good quality food, people are respectful. It's the opposite of America. Like, people respect you and you will respect them, and you know, it's really amazing to not have to worry that you're gonna get jumped, or you know, people are just gonna road rage you. None of that. It's none of that in Japan. Peaceful. It's nice. It's like really like low stress. It's incredible. Japan can be very frustrating. I'm not going to end this video on like a down note, but if you're not like a beast, Japan culture is going to break you. You have seen a lot of these YouTubers like whining about, oh, I'm lonely, or like nobody wants to sit next to me on the train. It's like, dude, I've been on the train, not in Okinawa because they're like, it's nothing. And if you're dressed nice, like people in Tokyo dress nice, you don't look like some homeless person, some homeless foreigner, people are going to sit next to you. They're going to sit right down, right next to you. I never had a problem with that. If I was like smelly and dirty and crazy and sloppy, then yeah, they don't want to sit next to you. But the big thing about living in Japan that you need to be a beast is if you want to live the real Japan life. And I've made videos on everything I'm going to talk about because it's so complicated and it's so frustrating. It's like, I came there on the first day and like, Sensei, I want to buy a car. And they're like, wow, that's super difficult because you're a foreigner. And it's like, really? And it's like, Sensei, I want to rent my own apartment. They're like, wow, that's like basically impossible for you. I was like, really? Not impossible, but I was relentless, okay? Like, if you go to the first real estate office, they're going to say no gaijin. They go to the second real estate office, no gaijin. Third real estate office, maybe no gaijin. Fourth real estate office. And I go in there and I'm like, hey, I want to rent an apartment right next to my school. And they say, yes, we can help you. Everything is possible. You have to be a beast, okay? These Japanese people don't trust you. They don't understand foreigners. They don't want to deal with you. When it comes to signing paperwork, 90% of Japanese people aren't going to deal with you. Same with buying a car. I go look at some car, some little van out in the middle of nowhere. Ride the bus like an hour. And it's like, oh, sumimasen, kono kuruma kaitai. I want to buy that car on the used car lot. And they just be like, no. Because no. Because you're gaijin. And I'm not going to deal with you. And you can get upset and you can make all these like super emotional weird videos on YouTube about it. Or you can just be like, bye-bye. And you go to the next car lot. And you say like, I want to buy this car. And they're probably going to say no. Because no. And then you go to the next car lot. And then somebody eventually is going to be like, yeah, sure. Do you have the papers? And I'll say no. But I will have the papers. And they're like, yeah, well, if you ever get the papers, which are super hard to get, we'll sell you the car. Because they think you'll never get the papers. But eventually, after 3 months, I got the apartment, and I had the proof of parking place and paper, which you need to buy the car, and I had a million other papers, and I got back to the car dealership and I bought the car. I made like a 15-minute video that like dissects how to buy a car, and you could buy a car in 2 weeks. It took me 3 months. So if you're just going to be some emotional person, Japan is going to break you. Okay, you're gonna be lonely, and you're not gonna get your micro apartment, and you're not gonna get your car, and you're not gonna get your girlfriend, you're not gonna get nothing. It's just gonna be some weird waste of time for you. But if you're a beast and you watch my videos that explain how to be a beast, basically, you will love this country, and you will love being there on a student visa, because it's just like playtime. You don't have to go to some terrible job. Honestly, you should not be working on a student visa. It's a total waste of time. Once again, I've made videos on this. The yen is going to 0. You're going to work at some convenience store for $6 an hour that requires super high level Japanese. Bro, you're not. Okay? You're going to learn you're going to learn something online, and you're going to do it in Japan, and you're going to make money. You're going to teach English online. I got other videos on that. Do not try and get the part-time job in Japan if you're some like wacky foreigner, like from America or Canada or whatever. Don't waste your time. It'll pay you nothing. It'll be super stressful. If you're coming from Nepal or the Philippines or Vietnam, by all means, work in the convenience store, work at the hotel, work at the cat food, dog food factory that you're gonna have to take train at like 4 in the morning. And like, dude, some of these gaijin in Japan are working their asses off. Mad respect. But if you're some wacky white person that just wants to have a fun time in Japan, like me, teach English online. Sorry to just like stream of conscious this video. I've made extremely detailed videos on everything I'm talking about. But life in Okinawa is amazing. Life in Japan is amazing. And the reason that I call my business 1 year visa is because it's amazing for 1 year. And in that 1 year, you're going to get super cheap health insurance. In that 1 year, you're going to get your little place to live. You're going to drive your car around. You're not going to need a Japanese driver's license. You can have the international driver's permit. Japanese driver's license is like one of the hardest ones to get on earth. You don't need it. Just international driver's permit. Show up, buy the car, drive. Done. Super easy. So 1 year in Japan will change your life. And then you can go to other countries. You can go back to your country. You can do whatever you want. But to live in Japan for 1 year is like top of your bucket list. Trust me. So thank you for watching this video. I'm gonna go make a bunch more videos, but just check out oneyearvisa.com, and we've got 15 schools on there at the time of this video. I'm about to go back to Japan in a few months, and I'm gonna try and add like a lot more schools, make the videos, and get you the information that you need so you can pick the right school for you. Maybe it's not in Okinawa, Tokyo, Sapporo, you know. I will go to these places and I will make the videos, and you will benefit. And maybe even some of these schools will give you a discount. So that's pretty cool. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.